My name's Brad Pierce. I'm the Managing Director of Security for Structured. I've been with Structured for about 20 years now. I've been in network and information security for about 25 years. 5 of those years I also spent doing network and security assessments, audits, penetration testing, focused on PCI, HIPAA, ISO 27000, and NIST standards. So over the past 10 years or so, the perimeter, which was the focus of a lot of security effort, has further and further gone away. And so now the security that was once centralized at the perimeter has had to be pushed down to all the endpoint devices. And with cloud security, SaaS deployments, high-speed mobile coming with 5G, all the same things that would have to be pushed down at an enterprise core need to be pushed down to the perimeter as well. First and foremost, you have to be able to know what's on your network or what's in your environment, enterprise. And so being able to do an inventory of all the components, all the devices, all the users, and then understanding where they need to go and what they need to do is key, is first. And that may not be as interesting or as attractive as deploying a bunch of point solutions, but there's a lot of beginning work that needs to happen, a lot of grunt work that needs to go into understanding your environment so that you're able to secure it. There are a lot of great products out there that can help you once you have done some of that legwork and can take you multiple steps past that. But that would be first and foremost is know who's on your network and what you have to protect. We have audits and assessment services that can come in and identify all the components that are on your network, all the people, what they need to access, what your sensitive data is, where it lives, and then we can move from there, analyzing how you have deployed what you currently own, and then suggest or deploy additional technologies that can help you secure it moving forward. A lot of times it depends on who's brought us in and what they're looking to secure or understand. So if we're doing a holistic assessment and we're able to look at all parts of the organization, then ideally we get to talk to network, application, cloud, all the way up to HR. Again, depending on what you want to secure, there's personal information, health information, all across the spectrum. So ideally we get to work with everybody because technology touches everything. We've had a lot of great success with network access control products that can identify the endpoint and put it into its correct security context. So whether that's a VLAN or a subnet or a security zone off of a firewall, being able to know what is on your network and where it's trying to go is key. A lot of that's done automatically at this point with products and technologies, solutions. Same goes for users, knowing when they log on, when they log off, where they're trying to go, doing active inventory and logging of every activity on the network. The more logging you can do, the better, as long as you hopefully have a solution where you can keep track of all of that. A lot of the technologies that are coming out today have artificial intelligence or machine learning that will assist in identifying endpoints and users and profile their behavior as well. So depending on where you're at in the security spectrum, we can advise on a number of different technologies or solutions to help with that. The dawn of the next generation of appliances in the past 5 to 7 years has spread across the market. So you started off with next generation firewalls that were able to do application identification, user identification, so forth. Now that capability to some extent is available on almost every line of firewalls out there at this point. So being able to identify what applications, in addition to source and destination of traffic, the ability to identify users along with applications, and data, depending on what kind of data is transferring your network, the ability to decrypt a lot of what is coming and going out of the environment now. upwards of 70 and 80% of network traffic now is encrypted. And if you're not able to get into that traffic, you're not able to get that visibility that will give you the advantage when trying to find adversaries in your network. Automation, AI, machine learning is going to be ever more a part of the industry, a part of fighting cyber attacks, protecting networks. The sheer volume of data, as well as the sophistication of attacks that are currently in the world, I guess, can't be managed by a single security analyst anymore. And largely, even teams of analysts need the assistance. They need to run with the machines, so they need to work with decision systems and things that can filter massive amounts of data. The more, pretty much everybody has a AI or ML component or story to their products anymore, and that's just a component of the massive amounts of data that everybody is able to get. We will see some runaway winners in the security space based on the quantity and quality of the data, as well as the quality of the analytics they're able to run. Whoever has the most data can possibly do the most good or have the most value in the marketplace. Like I said, everybody has an AI or ML component to their story at this point, and largely a lot of not security pure play companies have a security component to their story, as well they should. But yeah, the parsing of terms is going to be hard for anybody who doesn't spend a lot of time in the industry. AI and ML are effectively interchangeable as far as most of these products are concerned. I know that data scientists out there would argue with the use in probably most of the products, whether it's artificial intelligence or actual intelligence or just enhanced decision systems. For the most part, it's worth looking at what the product does, where it gets its information, and how its AI or ML is trained. Yeah, we can absolutely help ask questions, help sort through the marketing fluff, and get down to what would best be suited for their environment. And as with anything that has lots of variables, is it cost, is it performance, is it specific protections, specific features, but that's what we're there for, is to help. Well, this is kind of something that we've come to a few times over the course of this conversation. The first thing you need to be able to do is identify or take an inventory of what you have, whether that's people, machines, data, and identify what's important to you. So finding all the machines on the network, doing excessive documentation, because a lack of documentation can create an outage worse than some attacks. So first things first is know what you have, know how it works, and then work to deploy the things that you've already paid for in a effective and secure way. There's a lot of features and capabilities that are sitting out there unused, either because they don't know how to turn them on or don't know how to deploy them correctly in concert with the other technologies in an environment. Some of the basic tools that are available for everybody. So that would be my first suggestion, is make sure you're using what you have and know what you have, and then work towards layering more and more security and visibility on top of that. More often than not, companies are busy running the company or running the environment, fighting fires and whatnot. So this is why documentation tends to suffer, and inventory tends to suffer. It's because everybody's working to keep things afloat, fighting fires, etc. So having a third party come in and help with that can move things along quite quickly. If they're not encumbered by other policies and procedures, they can ask all kinds of questions. Why is this here? Where does that go? And discover things for a company pretty quickly. We've had a lot of success coming in, either when a CISO has changed or network director has changed, and performed an audit or assessment to document the environment so that they have a good idea of what they've just inherited, or how things work. Sometimes that's lost in tribal knowledge, but that's a sign of a mature organization that has solid documentation. Candidly, we're brought in quite often in one of several roles. One being to provide a third-party view of an environment or a product or a situation. Oftentimes, the internal IT organization already knows what they need, but they're not getting buy-off internally, and so having a neutral third party come in and say the same thing that they're saying will give them cover and provide validation for all the work they've already done. In the same instance, sometimes we're brought in to be the bad guy. Sometimes when management says we need to do a certain thing and the IT organization doesn't believe it. Either way, we come in and do an independent assessment and provide our best recommendations, and then let the politics of the environment sort themselves out. The technology I'm most interested in seeing how it matures right now is the security orchestration, automation, and response. So again, has a strong AI component, but is the area of security technology that's largely going to help us scale up as the volume of data and attacks increase. So the ability to get systems to work together, whether they're part of the same ecosystem or not, but automating responses to attacks, being able to parse through logs at scale, largely using artificial intelligence to assist the security analysts in the SOC. And it's not a well-developed area yet. There are a lot of independent orchestration tools and log management solutions. So it's an area that's nascent. It's starting to consolidate. A lot of the big players are starting to acquire companies in this area to help them build their own SOAR portfolio. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And that's one of the reasons why I'm interested in that space. We don't know which way it's going to go yet. The ability of organizations to have a distributed workforce has been the biggest upside in terms of there are lots of companies out there that don't have central offices. They can be at scale of an organization and everybody works from home and they can do it securely and they can do it from wherever they need to. So I would say that's one of the biggest, and I enjoy that, one of the biggest advantages of that dissolution of the perimeter is that if you push security down to every endpoint, then you can do your work from anywhere. And that allows all kinds of new and interesting organizations to come into play. A lot of the cost savings is in talent acquisition, so it doesn't have to be local. You can have it be across the country. You can find, as the hunt for talent increases, especially in the security space, you can have security analysts remote in from wherever you need them from. And so being able to find people where they live and include them in the organization has been a significant advantage for a lot of companies in the hunt for talent. One of the most significant things that needs securing in any given organization is the people. Unfortunately, people will often end up being the weak link, whether they intend to be or not. And so security awareness training is a huge component of a mature security program. Phishing prevention. A lot of very well-meaning people, up to and including security analysts, have fallen prey to phishing, a well-crafted email. And so prevention of exploiting the humans is a significant area of investment, or should be. So a formal program that is repeated over time, not just once, where you educate your staff about threats, and this can help them in their personal lives as well. But educating them about what the security landscape is, how to protect themselves when they operate online and in your organization. So a formal security program there, actively phishing your own employees, testing them, not necessarily penalizing them, but giving them a chance to see some of what's out in the wild would be another way, I would say.